Some of you don't know, but by virtue of state statute, the executive of the city has to give a state of the city, like you kind of do. The president gives the State of the Union. The executive has to give a state of the city. So you guys are the first look at the state of the city for the city of Hobart. So you can go to the next slide. If you guys don't know the state of our city, we are under construction. If you guys haven't noticed. All right? They end. We're good. All right, guys. Have a good day. No, we're good. All right, I'm super excited about the future of our community. It hasn't been by accident. Some of the previous administrations, previous councils have laid a strong foundation to allow us the opportunity to soar into the next chapter of the city and really bring this home and make us a community that everyone desires. So I've only been in office for about 6 months now, but one of the things that I recognized when I got into office is that we needed to build a strong foundation in our administration in order to take us to the next level and take us to where we want to go. One of the things that we did was, for the first time in the history of the city of Hobart, we put a position called the Chief of Staff. Sounds crazy that the city of Hobart, we're 30,000 people, 26 and a half square miles wide, and we didn't have a Chief of Staff. But this Chief of Staff handles a lot of the day-to-day operations, allows me as the mayor to go out, work on an economic development projects, meet people in the community, hear your guys' concerns, hear concerns of the community, and really start to connect those dots. So the Chief of Staff so far has been a huge, tremendous asset to me, and it's already paying dividends, and we're already starting to see it. The next order of business was we rearranged our building and planning department. One of the pain points I heard from a lot of our business owners, a lot of the people looking to do developments, was the time from planning to the time to building. And I said, okay, found a gentleman who has extensive knowledge in building and planning, and said, hey, you're in charge of building and planning now. So we brought a guy in to our administration, so they handle building and planning. So that kind of encompasses that and streamlines some things for us. He is the new building commissioner. In addition to that, the city of Hobart, we hired a new city engineer, a good Hobart guy who loves the community and is a tireless worker who's really going to help us move forward. We hired a new code compliance officer. It was called code enforcement officer. We didn't like the negative spin on it. Changed it to code compliance officer, which they've been out in our community helping clean our community up and making it more desirable for all of us to live, work, and play. We also hired the city of Hobart's first planning and sustainability director. And so what does that mean for us? As we start looking at 5 years, 10 years, 20 years into the future, we want to make sure that we're doing what we can as a community and as a city to make sure that we're sustaining that into the future. So Jill came over here from the city of LaPorte, and she's already pretty phenomenal. You give her a task, she gets it done. We have new fire administration, we have a new fire chief, and we have 2 assistant fire chiefs. They're brand new to our administration. One of them cannot build a boat, but we won't talk about that. And then we changed the structure, some of the structure to the police department, made some changes to the admin there, which has already paid dividends. All right, so here's the fun stuff that I have to talk about, right? So I'm going to kind of lay this out. We're going to kind of go department to department, and then at the end, we're going to kind of share the vision and where we're at from the state of the city. I don't know if you guys all are aware, but the city of Hobart last year experienced a pretty catastrophic event, which was the Southlake Mall tax appeal. In short, the city of Hobart had to repay the mall about, let's call it $15 million. And they said, hey, we need the check by Monday. That's pretty much what they said, right? So the city of Hobart had to kind of scramble a little bit. We had to make some bonds to get that debt obligation to pay it, so that the county didn't keep our taxes. So we had to go out and bond for that, and luckily the state legislators, bless them, they allowed us to go to the Indiana Bond Bank and get a 25-year bond, which helped us keep the lights on in the city of Hobart. So it was a lot of hard work from a lot of people. Mayor Snedeker was a big piece of that. The council at the time was a big piece of that to make sure that we as a community could keep our lights on. So that was a crucial step. And so this is kind of the boring stuff. But it adds backstory, it adds context to what we're trying to do in the community. So part of that mall tax appeal means we lost a lot of assessed value, which is how we kind of gauge our community, how we get taxes. So we lost, you can see the chart here, we lost over $90 million in assessed value, in large part because of the Southlake Mall tax appeal. So we're trending right, we're trending good, and then all of a sudden the mall tax appeal goes through, we lose that value. In 2023 alone, we lost over 11.5 in tax revenues due to circuit breakers, tax credits, Southlake Mall appeal, et cetera, et cetera. But we're strong now because it allowed us the opportunity to really look at the things we were doing operationally and really made us hone in on what our focus was. Building and planning, obviously you said we hired a new building commissioner, which is phenomenal. One of the things that we are moving towards being digital in our building department, right? Being able to apply for building permits, tracking systems, all online. So when you walk into the building department or you call the building department, we know exactly where your project's at, how it's going, when the documents were submitted, and so nothing gets lost. It is something that is a big lift to go completely digital in our building department, but we are trending towards that way. We are probably days away from signing a contract to make sure that does happen, which is phenomenal, not only for the city, for our staff, for our employees, but for the residents, right? You'll be able to submit your building applications online, and so on and so forth. In addition to that, there'll be some code to it, so you'll be able to submit a code complaint online, you'll be able to take a picture, submit it right online. There'll be a portal where you can see if it's been checked off, if it's been reported, if anyone's made contact with it. So it's going to be pretty exciting for us to get that, which is going to help us get to where we want to go as a community. So we got some projects, Dollar General Market, which is going to help us tremendously on our west side of town. It's kind of a food desert over there, if you will. There's not really a convenience store that is within walking distance for some of our residents over there. So the Dollar General Market is an exciting for us. It doesn't, it's something that people in communities don't necessarily get overly excited about, but for us, having that on that side of town, within walking distance, a grocery store to give our folks in that side of town the ability to get groceries, walking distance is going to be pretty phenomenal. Projects near construction, Dunkin Donuts on 61st Avenue, Tsunami Car Wash off of Route 30, another high-end apartment complex called Redwood down on Route 30 as well. And then project proposals, there's a Starbucks coming to the north side of town. You guys aren't too excited? All right. When I spoke to the kids, that was the number one thing they said, bring us a Starbucks. It's coming. Coming to the north side of town. As of January 1st, you guys can see residential construction value has increased by 23.5%, and commercial construction value has increased by 546%. People are taking notice of our community and really starting to invest in it, and it is an exciting time. And then our code compliance officer, we hired a new code compliance officer. The gentleman is just out there making sure our community is cleaned up. Close to 319 cases in like 2 months probably to some degree, so it's been absolutely phenomenal work that he is doing. Engineering, like I said, we appointed a new city engineer. This is kind of, I call it the blocking and tackling of a community. I'm a huge sports fan, so blocking and tackling. Some of the projects that our engineering are working on gives us the ability to go out and grow as a community. It gives us the ability to make sure that some of your guys' pain points, roads, flooding, those type of things are taken care of. So basically, in short, we're inventorying our sewer system. We're implementing a lot of different projects. This is Lasalle Street, and then ultimately the Wisconsin Street Bridge will be started sometime in October of this year, which will help us alleviate a lot of the flooding. Our lift station, I know you guys have probably, if you've driven through the city of Hobart in the last year, this project has been the one you guys have probably noticed the most. Basically from Ridge Road all the way down past into Gary, it's our main lift station. this was a project that was overdue. They say the useful life on a lift station is about 30 years. We were at 36. We couldn't find parts. It wasn't safe for our employees. So last year we undertook this project, and then it should be completed by almost the end of this year. But what does this do? This allows us the ability to grow. It allows us the ability to be a community that's valued into the future. Back in the day, we were on a sewer moratorium. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but we couldn't build in the city of Hobart because our sanitary sewers couldn't support any growth. So with that in mind, we have to make sure that we continue to invest in our infrastructure and continue to make sure that we don't find ourselves in that same spot. Police department. Our police department, starting the first of the year, transitioned from an 8-hour shift to a 12-hour shift. You're probably like, what does that mean to me? That means for you, your resident or a business owner, it allows us to put a couple more guys on the streets, allows us to give guys more opportunities to train, gives us the opportunity to allow more guys to attend schools and so on and so forth. So going from an 8 to a 12-hour shift has gave us some flexibility. Obviously, our police department got new handguns, new portable radio systems to eliminate signals disruptions. We were part of a grant. A number of years ago, there was a report of a shooter at Lake Central School. Does everyone remember that? And what happened when people got there was there were officers inside the building and there were officers outside the building, but they didn't have any radio signal because they were in a dead spot. So the new radios are Wi-Fi based, so that allows them the ability to always be in contact from the outside and the inside. So it provides a level of safety and security for us here in our community. If they were to go into a building that maybe potentially could cause the signal to go out. So from a safety aspect, that's a pretty big deal. We hired a couple new officers, 2 more coming. We introduced 2 new canines. They acquired 2 new drones, which I don't know if our drones are really an asset to our community. They help us find lost people. They help us survey areas. So they're a huge asset. I want to jump down to the traffic stops. Our traffic stops are up 33%. That doesn't mean that that's 33% more that people are committing crimes or doing something they shouldn't be. That means that our police officers are being more proactive. Recognizing all the construction that we have going on in our community, we've tasked them with making sure to patrol side streets, to make sure people aren't flying up and down there to protect our residents. So our traffic stops are up 33%, which has ultimately resulted in a total call volume increase of about 11%. Our fire department, which might be kind of the strides that our fire department's made, is probably one of the things I'm most proud of. We have a complete new fire administration in the city of Hobart. We have a young fire chief who has been nothing but great, and then he surrounded himself with 2 good people. We've enhanced our department's ability to create mutual aid. So before, we never had mutual aid with our surrounding communities. So if you're like me and you live on the northeast part of town and there's God forbid, a structure fire at your house, you were hoping that Hobart could get there. Well, now we have mutual aid with a community, Portage, to the east of us, which allows them to respond pretty much just as quick as our Hobart Fire Department would. So our fire chief and his team have gone out, secured mutual aid agreements, and strengthened our department as a whole. Fire departments, fire service across the state, across the country are challenged. There's never enough funding, there's never enough money, and there's never enough people applying to be firefighters. So having that ability to have strong mutual aid relationships protects us as a community and protects our firefighters. One of the things that they've had to endure too is the road closures. I don't know, when our entire southern part of our city was closed, those people had to get to the hospital somehow. So our fire department was they're very smart and strategic about their implementation of that. And then they continue to go above and beyond with offering narcan services, lockboxes, knockboxes on your homes, all of that fun stuff that they continue to do. Our Mariareinercenter, is everyone familiar with the Mariareinercenter, 55 and older? See some heads going. You guys all must be the people that are members? Okay, good. You're not a member?
Not yet.
So once again, just becomes, it continues to be a staple in the region. If you know anyone that's 55 and older that wants to be part of the Reorganized Center, it continues to be kind of the gold standard of these type of facilities. We also introduced to them a recycling drop-off location, which we'll hit on that the next slide, or next couple slides. But and then we do monthly meetings with the seniors. One of the things that we're really big on in our administration is communication. And one of the communication gaps was our seniors and how we get information to them. And so we said we'll go right to where they're at. A lot of them are at the Reiner Center, so we do monthly meetings there, give them the ability to recap what's going on, let them know what's coming up, and answer any questions. And it's been an overall hit. It might be one of the most attended things that they do there now. Parks and events, we'll thank the Hard Rock Casino again. I mean, they are a sponsor of our Parks Department. We did appoint a new Parks Director. We have more events going on. We moved the Lakefront Fest from the end of the year to the beginning of the year, and it paid huge dividends. It was the largest turnout that we've ever had, the most volume that we've ever had, the most dollars that we've ever made. So it was great to kick off the summer instead of ending it, and so that was great. We have the acquisition of the pool, the property south of the pool. We have some big plans for that area there. We're not going to tip those out yet, but south of the pool, we acquired that property. We're kind of creating a nice little destination with the destination playground, the pool, and then we'll be doing something to the south of that. We also acquired the property south of Liverpool. You guys probably have no idea where this is at, but 61st Avenue, Liverpool. Liverpool continues south, and then it just dead ends. Back there is a parcel of land that we were able to acquire, and we want to create a park there to serve those residents on that side. We're also continuing to look for areas of opportunity for all of our residents that maybe aren't served by a park. Our community is very vast. We have, like I said, 26.5 square miles, multiple state roads running through there. So connectivity for us is super important, but also identifying where there's potential areas of void where we can potentially put a park, like on the northeast part of town, Nob Hill. In order for them to get to their kids to get to a park, they have to cross 51 or Route 6. So we're looking for opportunities there as well, and we're continuing to go down that path. Public Works. One of the big things, obviously we're doing a lot of community cleanups and whatnot with Public Works, but one of the things that I do want to hit on is the recycling. Our recycling program and all of the recycling programs across the country really there's a lot of pressure on them, right? When COVID happened, China, who was buying the majority of our recycling, pretty much stopped. And it caused a lot of turmoil to the recycling industry. So the recycling industry, what they did was they started to pay really close attention to what was being recycled, what was being brought into them. And so the city for the last, we'll call it 4 years, has struggled with, okay, how do we get this balance? What does it look like? Do we take people's recycling bins? Do we find them? What does it look like? We tried it all. But one of the things that we did just recently with the council and myself, we completely ended curbside recycling. What was happening was people were putting such contaminated loads in the recycling bin that anyone that was doing recycling correctly, their stuff was just ending up in the landfill. So we said, that's not fair, right? So if you're spending all the hard work and time to recycle and it's going in the landfill, why, right? So we ended curbside recycling, and we have already over 19 total tonnage of recycling in just like a month and a half. Actually being recycled, actually going to the recycling center, as opposed to zero that it was. So ending the curbside recycling, the council, there was a little bit of heat that we took, but it was definitely the right thing, because at the end of the day, you want your stuff that you're recycling to get recycled. So we did that, and then we're going to be rolling out a program here soon where we're going to allow the people that want to recycle the ability to do curbside recycling here in the future. Trying to make everybody recycle that they don't want to recycle, so they throw whatever they can in the can, ultimately ends up punishing us. We're paying more to take someone's garbage that they put in the recycling bin, because it has to be moved twice. And then the spring cleanup week, our public works team continues to go above and beyond. with our projects and cleaning up our community. Economic development. We've secured over $150 million in incoming development. The Redevelopment Commission has contributed funds to helping our projects, roundabouts and different types of construction. We applied for a READY grant for $16.5 million. You guys will hear about that in a little bit. We funded the boat dock on Lake George, continued the Facade grant, which is for helping our businesses downtown. Increased the Riverfront liquor license program. This is something that the council has control over. But basically allows more liquor licenses in the city of Hobart for restaurants, et cetera, to come in. And then we awarded more than $50,000 in education and workforce training grants to local schools, which is pretty cool. Part of our redevelopment commission. They have projects that are submitted to them, and then they submit the funds, which is pretty cool to see. All right. So some of my initiatives and kind of where we're at right now. Veterans resources. One of the things that we're working hard is to make sure that our veterans are taken care of in our community, to make sure that they have access to resources. And so there's a lot of resources for our veterans out there that exist, but there's never too many resources available for them. So we're going to continue to provide resources to them. Our Sustainability Council, I hit on hiring a new sustainability director. We're going to create a sustainability council that kind of piggybacks off of our recycling program. Our Downtown Business Coalition. This was attempted to be started a number of years ago, and I think what was happening was that the city was too involved. So I got with a downtown business owner, and I said, I have this idea that the downtown businesses create a coalition to serve themselves outside of the city. We'll be there to support, we'll be there to help, but we want you guys to own it. We want you guys to take the initiative. We want you guys to be the driving force for good in our downtown. We'll be there to help, we'll be there to assist, but we want you guys to take ownership, and we want to take a step back from that and just be that resource for you guys. And so I believe they're having their first meeting here really soon in the next Monday. Monday is the first meeting of the Downtown Business Coalition. And I'm super excited about it because we have a good nucleus of our downtown business owners that are really trying to move the needle forward. And it's a perfect opportunity to kick it off. And I think we have a lot of like-minded people that are going to help drive that boat forward. I see a lot of head shakes, so that's a good sign. Our West End revitalization. Make no mistake about it, our West End was something that the people of our West End felt like they might be neglected. They felt like they didn't have a seat at the table. We've committed to revitalizing our West End. We've already started doing community cleanups over there. We're going to do more in the days to come. We're continuing to look for investment on that area. The Dollar General over there is really going to help. I'm a big fan of high tide rises all ships. We're going to continue to invest in that side of town and really make an impact for our West End. And it's really going to help elevate all of the entire city. Our Brickroad guide. This is something that was kind of near and dear to me, I guess. I always said when I bought my house, my first house, I said nobody handed me a pamphlet and said, hey, when you build a shed, you need to get a permit. I didn't know that. So we're already putting together a resource guide that will allow people to go search for something quicker, get information from our city faster. That's going to help us be better to serve our residents, to make sure that they have the information they need when they need it, right? Nothing's worse than trying to call City Hall at 4:30 and no one's there, right? You're like, I just got out of work. I need to know if I need a permit. We're in the process of creating a Brickroad guide that will give you answers to those questions and ultimately help serve our residents. We launched the very first Mayor's Youth Council. This is something that we've been committed to, our youth. I always say that my goal is that nobody outgrows Hobart. And we want our youth to be engaged. We want our youth to be part of that process. We want our youth to be involved in that. So we started the Mayor's Youth Council. They'll meet once a month starting in September. And we're hoping that they'll be able to bring projects and ideas to us and foster growth for our community. 50/50 Sidewalk Program. We brought it back. We brought the 50/50 sidewalk back. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the 50/50 sidewalk. But basically what it is the sidewalk in front of your house is your responsibility, right? You have to shovel it, you got to maintain it. But what we're running into is that those sidewalks over time get beat up, right? Trees grow through them, they get cracked. And the only way our mission and vision to create connectivity doesn't work if there's a missing link to that puzzle, right? So we went out and reestablished the 50-50 sidewalk program, which means that if someone wants to replace their sidewalk, the city and them will go half on it. In addition to that, we allocated 10% of all of our exaction fees that we get in from new developments to creating sidewalks and connectivity throughout our community. That means that we're committed to getting people not necessarily only using the automobile as the mode of transportation, creating connectivity, creating all these things that create a strong community through walking, biking, and our administration is super committed to that, and we're doing it, but with the 50-50 program and then our campaign to replace a lot of sidewalks and build new ones throughout our community. To piggyback off of that is our Inclusion Council, which ultimately will give people that are maybe in a disadvantage in our community a seat at the table. Give them the ability to have conversations with us. We created an Inclusion Council to make sure that I didn't realize those slides were there. Give us the ability to make sure that those folks have a seat at the table. One of the cool things I get to do as mayor, I guess, is I get to go around and talk about the city of Hobart. And I've gone to a lot of events, and I've been able to speak at some of those events. And when I get done, the conversation that is always brought back to me is, I didn't know Hobart had all of that. I didn't know Hobart had that. I didn't know Hobart was there. I didn't know this, and I didn't know that. So when I heard this repeatedly over time, I said, okay, we have to change that narrative. We have to change what that looks like. So our staff, the mayor's office staff, Kelly and I and Emma, we're going to be launching a Dream Hire Hobart. We're going to be embracing tradition and inspiring tomorrow. We don't want to lose as we go out and look at what the next 5, 10, 20 years looks like. We don't want to forget about who we are, but we also want to make sure that we are inspiring tomorrow. And we go around and we talk to these other communities and we talk to what these people are doing, and we hear the feedback, and I'm like, we're moons ahead of these people. But they're dreaming bigger, they're raising the bar, they're raising the standard in their communities, and they're seeing the benefit of that. And I said, we need to do that here in Hobart. That's what we need to do. When I'm out talking to these people, and they're like, you guys have so much potential. And I'm like, yeah, potential means that we're not doing anything right now. Like, we need to take this to the next level. So we launched this campaign, Dream Hire Hobart, embracing tradition and inspiring tomorrow. That is not the logo that's going to look like, but for context, it was there. So we are literally the best kept secret in the region. I firmly believe that we are absolutely the best kept secret in the region. However, that's a good thing and a bad thing. It means we got a lot of opportunity and a lot of possibilities, right? But when I go to these places, they say it, and I know it. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to be the best kept secret in the region anymore. We're thinking bigger and encouraging better. We're currently laying out a marketing plan that's going to share that message with the entire region from this point forward. We are going down the path of being that staple community. We're getting buy-in. Our employees are raising their level of what they're able to accomplish. They're thinking a lot bigger. They're not thinking smaller anymore. They're thinking a lot larger, and they're starting to see the true potential we have here in this community. The infrastructure's been put on. The previous administrations have put a lot of the infrastructure in the ground, right? A lot of the heavy lifting has been done, and now it's time to soar. Historic downtown. My administration, we're committing up to $1 million in funds to help restore downtown, to help bring it to life, to help bring that next level of business here, to help bring more people to our downtown. We're going to be working to utilize Lake George more. We already put the boat dock in there. We're looking at housing possibilities. We're looking at a lot of things in our downtown that's going to drive foot traffic, right? The Art's doing a fabulous job bringing in more people. We need to continue to do those things. We have a lot of businesses that have opened, and some that'll be opening here within a couple days. But we are continue to raise the standard and continue to look for ways that we can create a downtown that's continues to already be a destination. Housing stock. So rooftops help businesses, right? Like, you guys need customers if you have a business. So in addition to that, our school district, we don't tell this story enough, but our school district has saved Hobart families like $8 million in college tuition. That's huge. Those are real dollars, right? That's money that's been circulating back through our economy. Cressmore subdivision's getting 420 homes. Hickory Hallow, which is a Steiner product, is doing 100 homes. We have a lot of people taking notice of all of our infill lots, which are lots that are maybe a vacant lot between two houses. We're working on lake lots, right? Like when you go to communities and you think of a lake, right, you're like, those are probably $1 million houses around the lake, right? Right. We're working towards that. We're working towards looking for identifying parcels around our lake that we can invest in, that we can bring that to the next level so that those houses are highly sought after, and we're going to start building it organically. The city of Hobart and the Hobart School District is landlocked, but we're looking for the infill lots, and we're looking for areas that we can increase the value, increase people's discretionary income, bringing in a different product. Looking for downtown condos. These are all things that we're launching out in our marketing campaign that's going to be rolling out here soon. Business coming to downtown Hobart is Public Bar and Rec in the old Bright Spot building. We're super excited about that. It's a beautiful building. I think it's going to be, 4,000 square foot on the bottom, 4,000 square foot on the top. That's the back overlooking beautiful Lake George. We're dreaming higher, right? Like we're inspiring that next level. I mean, this has got about a $3 million build. I just got off the phone with the owner this morning, and I said, I'm going to go tell this to the chamber. Make sure that you're committed. He said, no, we're committed. So we're excited about a project like this. When you start getting these types of businesses in our community, people are starting to take notice. In addition to that, our Route 30 corridor. We were the #1 site selected for the convention center. I don't know what that means yet. All right? I don't know what that means yet. But I do know one thing. That a group of consultants who got together said, this area is prime for growth. Right? That's what I took away from that study. Whether we land a convention center or not, we're going to go after it pretty aggressively. But regardless of if we land it, we identified that spot is a prime spot for growth. This is part of our community. Route 30 corridor, we're seeing it. I showed you guys that slide first. When that mall took a hit to value, it took a huge hit to us, the city. We have to make sure that this Route 30 corridor is stabilized. I had a great conversation with the mall. Right after I took office, I went in there. Does anyone know how old the mall is? What's old? I'm a young guy.
It was there when I'm 40, and it's been there since I've been alive.
They're celebrating their 50th year this year.
Okay.
Yeah. That's crazy, right? I didn't think, I'm like 50, you're not 50. So we're going to help them.
I was there when I was born.
They embraced us with open arms. They're happy that we are excited about their future. They're at like 92% occupied. So the mall's not in any stress right now. I think that's important to know, right? But we're committed to making sure that it continues to thrive into the future. So Jay, you'll probably be seeing a celebration for them in the next couple months. So the kind of business climate of Northwest Indiana, right? You guys see a lot of like warehouses being built, yes. Distribution centers, yeah. Right? Those are all great. One thing that I have said, and the one thing that people have missed out on when we're going after these distribution centers, we're going after these industrial warehouses, what are the people going to do? Right? Like, what do they do? Like, I mean, everyone could go work at a factory, but what are you going to do after you get off work at 5? So we've taken upon ourselves to make the Route 30 corridor, we're creating an entertainment district. We're going to create a spot where people are coming to after they get off work, right? Where they can eat, they can play. We're going to enhance safety and walkability, and we're going to continue the efforts of bringing in more business to the Route 30 corridor. We have a lot of people that are excited about the Route 30 corridor, and we're super thrilled about it. The mall's stable. There's a lot of potential out there, and the convention center is a kind of a icing on the cake to let us know that, hey, it's ready to go. Let's just make it happen. Silverstone, this is a project that I think at the end of the day we're going to be real happy to hang our head on. This was before the Plan Commission last month. right behind, you ever know where the old Toys R Us was?
Yes.
All right. So right behind the old Toys R Us, there's this huge field, a huge plot of land that the developer and I have been working on, creating a live-work-play model. It's going to be, this is, for context, this was the #1 site selected for the convention center, right here. City recreation up on the top right. We are hoping to build 8 full-size baseball diamonds. Basically, our pro forma that we received from them is 55,000 hotel stays a year. What does 55,000 hotel stays a year do to our Route 30 corridor? Greatly enhances it, right? Greatly gets people to invest. So this project right here is going to be, people are talking about it. They're super excited. The convention center people are super excited as well. If you go to the next slide. So this is kind of what some of the products will look like. Retail on the bottom, high-end apartments on the top, young professionals looking for that next level of person that wants to live close to the interstate, wants to live, work, play. The developer and I are working on this. So browningday is a company out of Fishers and Carmel area, rebarconsulting out of Fishers, Carmel area. These guys built Fishers from the ground up, built Carmel from the ground up. These guys know what they're talking about. When we talk about dreaming higher, it's talking about bringing those people in there, bringing people in here that have seen it, that have done amazing things throughout the state, and bringing those people to Hobart. And when they come to Hobart, they're like, you guys you have it here. You have it here. And so that's why that Dream Higher Hobart has been so, we're just dreaming higher here. Our Route 6 corridor, if you guys see, we got our downtown, we got our Route 30, we got our Route 6, right? Those are kind of how the structure of our community works. Right now, currently, we're working on revitalizing that corridor as well. And Dollar General Market's coming in. You guys don't really care about the Starbucks, but that Starbucks is coming in. My wife and kids are super excited about it, but it'll be right by the Arby's on 51. Large investment by Strax. We're continuing to see the Route 6 corridor as something that we're going to be looking to develop as well. The city has some property over there that's really going to ignite and really going to kind of get our community soaring into the next level. So the future's now. We're super excited about our Dream Higher Hobart. We don't want to lose who we are, right? Like, we don't want to lose that blue collar, put your work boots on, get up, go to work and grind. Like, that's kind of ingrained in our culture, right, in that Hobart culture. But we also recognize that, but we also want to make sure that we're a community that's going to be desired in the next 5, 10, 20 years, right? And we're already starting to see over 500% increase in commercial development. We're starting to see people take notice of our community. And I'm going to go and I'm going to share this story with everybody that I can about how great our community is. And I mean, I think the sky's the limit for us.